In the peaceful village of Lao, there lived an old man named Lao Chen. He was poor, yet even kings envied him, for he owned the most magnificent white horse anyone had ever seen. Its coat shimmered like a pearl, and its strength was unmatched. Many wealthy men, including the king himself, offered immense wealth for the horse. But Lao Chen refused every time. "This horse is not just an animal to me," he would say. "It is my companion, my family. How can I sell my own family?" The villagers called him a fool. "You live in poverty. You could be rich beyond imagination," they argued. But Lao Chen simply smiled, never swayed by their words. One morning, a terrible thing happened. The horse was gone. The stable was empty. The villagers gathered, shaking their heads in dismay. "See? We warned you. If you had sold it, you would have been rich. Now it's gone and you have nothing. What a tragedy." Lao Chen remained calm. He simply said, "Don't jump to conclusions. Just say that the horse is missing, whether it's a blessing or a curse. Who can say? The story is not over yet." The villagers scoffed. To them, his words were nonsense. But just a few days later, something incredible happened. One night, the white horse returned. But it did not come alone. A dozen wild horses followed it into the village, strong and untamed. Now, the villagers were in awe. "You were right, Lao Chen. What we thought was misfortune turned out to be the greatest blessing. Now you are the richest man in the village." But again, Lao Chen only smiled. "You're going too far again. Just say that my horse has returned with 12 others. Whether this is good or bad, who knows? The story is still unfolding." The villagers were confused, but they kept their thoughts to themselves. Lao Chen had a son, a strong young man. He began training the wild horses, dreaming of the wealth they would bring. But one day, while taming a particularly fierce stallion, he was thrown violently to the ground. His leg snapped. The villagers rushed to Lao Chen, their faces filled with pity. "Oh no! Your only son, your only support in old age, is now crippled. This is surely a disaster." But once again, Lao Chen remained unshaken. "You speak too soon. My son has broken his leg. That is all. Whether it's good or bad, who can say? The story is still being written." The villagers were frustrated. How could this be anything but a disaster? But time had more to reveal. A few weeks later, war broke out between China and its neighboring kingdom. The emperor ordered that every young man in the village be drafted into the army. Families wept as their sons were taken away, knowing they might never return. But Lao Chen's son was spared. His broken leg made him unfit for war. The villagers, now full of sorrow, returned to Lao Chen. "You were right again. What seemed like a curse has saved your son's life. Our children are gone, but yours is still here with you. This is truly a blessing." But Lao Chen simply looked at them with his wise, knowing eyes and said, "You still do not understand. Say only that my son was not taken to war. Whether this is good or bad, who can say? The story is never truly over. Life is unpredictable. What seems like misfortune today may turn into a blessing tomorrow. And what appears to be a blessing could lead to unforeseen struggles. We often judge situations too quickly, reacting with joy or despair before we see the bigger picture. But if we learn to remain calm, to trust the journey, and to stop rushing to label events as good or bad, we can find true peace. Lao Chen's wisdom teaches us the power of patience and acceptance. Instead of constantly trying to control life, perhaps the key to happiness is learning to trust it. Because in the end, who really knows what tomorrow will bring?